Alright, this video for cog types. I'm going to go ahead and do a video. How long does this thing have to be for you again? Auburn, why is there a record? I don't know. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and read through the questions that you had here. Hopefully, oh wait, you can't see me. Oh god, now I can't see anything. One of these things has to go. Whatever. I'll just roll with it. I'm going to go ahead and use your randomly selected things here, and hopefully we can go with it. By the way, love that they're randomly selected. I don't know how you did that, but that's pretty neat. All right. First question is, have you ever thought about adopting? I'm pretty healthy, and most of the people that I go and look for are pretty healthy, so it hasn't really popped in my head as like something that I have looked at as doing really. But I mean, if a situation pops up to where I can't have kids, then like naturally I can. Hopefully no one stabs me in my, yeah. But if that doesn't work, then yes, I will go ahead and see what I can do as far as getting an adopted child, because I want to have children. It's something very important to me. Tell me about someone you really admire. Oh god, I could spend a lot of time on this, and maybe I will, because it's actually pretty, it's one of the ones that I like a lot. So, one of the people that I really admire is someone named Ashley. She was a friend of mine who went ahead and helped me with a lot of my interpersonal issues. She did a lot. Also, she set herself as an ideal and like completely shattered everything under her. She really just took my perception to task on what it is to be a good person in a lot of ways. And she just was able to break through boundaries with people just by being there in a way. And she knew how to lead people on without being arrogant. Like, she knew how to basically just let you find your own path to go forwards instead of just building it for you, which I tend to do. And not the best thing, but it happens. Another person I really admire is Jordan Peterson for somewhat the same reason. He can tell people what to do, but he has a way of doing it in a way that's not arrogant. Plus, he has a background that allows him to go towards that. And the way he says things is very oratorically powerful as well. He's also followed a lifestyle that I really, really have wanted to go down. Even before I met the guy, like, and I mean like met him as in like metaphorically. Although I have met him in person, he's pretty cool. I met him at a Phoenix convention, but he's shown a good path, and one that I want to go down. So, what was your favorite subject in school? Oh wait, I forgot. I want to keep going on that because there's like two more people that I really like. Gordon Ramsay is really cool right now to me, just because despite being able to put a lot of power and energy and being really forceful and kind of an asshole, he's also able to go ahead and, what would you say? He's able to wane himself down and be socially acceptable as well. Like, he can determine for himself which way to be in social situations very well, and he's very effective at that. He's a good leader. That makes me intrigued because it's something that I'd like to go towards. What was your favorite subject in school and why? Interesting question. My favorite subject was probably English. I loved English, man. A lot, actually. Actually, I should probably take these off. It might help see my eyes a bit better. Hopefully I don't. But, oh god, but I can't see anything now. Anyway, favorite subject in school. English, only subject that I took to AP, and I loved that. Even if I wasn't the best writer the entire time, I loved exploring the ideas that were in it. Like, I had an AP English teacher in high school in one of the high schools I went to. I went to like 7. But she was very, very charismatic and basically taught some of the lessons behind the things that we were reading as well. She made it interesting to learn English, which was really nice. And it was naturally interesting to me too. I don't know a way to say it, but let's go ahead and say between the ages of about, I want to say 8 and 13, I was in my room reading. Like, that's all I was doing. I wouldn't say I read a book a day, but I would say around a book a week. Maybe less than that, but around there. And like that fascination waned over time, but when I got into high school and I got into that English class, it kind of reinvigorated a bit for me, because it basically applied why you should go ahead and read these things that you'd like to read in the past, rather than them just being straight interesting to you. Which, to be fair, that might be enough reason anyway, but let's see. What upsets you the most? I'm not very volatile in general. Like, it takes a lot to upset me. And that's not really, like, I'm not trying to put myself better in any way because of that. I just mean, I don't get angry because I see it as a bad way to deal with a lot of situations. There's very few that I'm like, okay, anger necessary here, time to go, time to fuck people up. No, I don't really do that. But I will get frustrated when people aren't taking a good way into a scenario or out of one. Yeah, that's probably the thing that gets me the most. And it's not like they're not acting the right way, it's that I guess you could say that they're being weak. I don't know. But then again, I've been wrong with that before, so that's the biggest thing for me, though. Like, if anyone's hiding something from themselves, or they're forcing someone else to do things because they don't really like them, let's go and see what else. If they don't like to do them, if they're accepting something that isn't the best for them and basically saying, like, this is perfect, that's what I need. No, it's not really. It doesn't feel right to me when that stuff happens. A lot of stuff that comes up to me, stuff that doesn't feel right, but it's that I know that this isn't the right way for them to be acting in the scenario. Like, they're not giving themselves a good hand to deal in the future. What do others say about... Oh. That's how you tell I have my glasses off. What do your clothes say about you? Clothes in general? Well, it depends. I dress to occasion mostly. So, like, I'll dress to go ahead and... It depends. My clothes in general probably say that I like things that are very pretty, but don't like to take a lot of time for things that I don't feel are important. But, I mean, when it is important, I know how to dress very, very well. So, it's weird. Ooh, I can refresh and get more, can't I? Yes. I can... By the way, horrible thing I'm doing here, but, like, I'm a human person and I like interacting with people. I'm a harsh socialite. So, like, I'm looking at my own eyes being like, I'm talking to you, bud, but the camera's right there. I don't know how to talk to a camera. It's weird to me. So, in order to make myself comfortable, which we said was the necessary thing for this, a lot of my eye direction might be... How do you fix that? Because you need to, like, obviously you need to have a bit of the attention. Oh my god, that's such a good question. Wow. If you could fit your life into one picture, what would it look like? How do I put that? If you know Nietzsche, he has 3 stages of life. He is the camel, the tiger, the child. It represents like a hero's archetype very well. And my life so far has been camel as far as emotional challenge. I've dealt with a lot of things in my environment that bring a lot of things that are hard to deal with emotionally. And I've also struggled a lot with myself. I have harsh emotions for myself, like judgments. It's not like personal connections or anything, but it's like when I'm not being what I know I should be, it's one of the harshest things that I have felt, and it's me to myself. I've never met someone that's as harsh on me as I am, but I want to. I want to meet someone that's harsher on me than I am. I want to be in that scenario. That's why I like Gordon Ramsay. That's why I like Jordan Peterson. That's why I like my old friend. It's because they basically said, no, ideal, higher than what you've already done, even if you're a high achiever, which I am. What makes you bored? This is a cliche, and I'm not saying I don't know the usefulness of it. but small talk makes me very bored. Basically, I don't really have an issue with that. As soon as a conversation starts, I'm not manipulating. It's the wrong way to say it. But I am basically taking the conversation and leading it to another place almost immediately that they can find more valuable than the initial conversation starter. Because, like, I don't know, I break down masks easily. Maybe that's a good way to put it. But the initial conversation starter only serves that purpose to me. I don't like to just know about people's lives and day-to-day or anything like that. It doesn't really serve a lot of purpose to me unless I'm trying to figure out an issue with them and it's hidden within their daily life. Like, if they have, like, a little microcosm of things that they're dealing with and they don't know how to deal with it, and it's just like what did I say for my friend or my sister? My sister has, like, a hydra that she comes home with from work every day. She just sits in a room and just, like, cuts off heads inside her head. And the only other people that really know how to take a brand to it and seal that little, like, hydra head from it multiplying over and over again to 10,000 instead of, like, 10 is the people around her. And, like, that's what I mean. Like, I like to get to that kind of thing, and I need to know what her things in her daily life are so we can burn the heads. But I don't like just looking at things. Small talk, effectively. Also, I have somewhat of a narcissistic component where, like, if I'm not inputting into the conversation, I struggle with just listening. And that's something that I'm trying to deal with, obviously. I don't think it's necessarily the best way because, obviously, the epitome of someone who is wise is the person who can sit back and talk last. And just intake and organize information in that way. Not just, like, completely bombard every conversation with an offload of energy that doesn't let it continue or progress. That's not good. So, yeah, I'm trying to fix that, but that's another thing that I have. What puts a smile on your face? Oh my god. So, a lot of things. Obviously, if you haven't noticed, I smile a lot. But this isn't... I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you an overall on this because it's very hard. I basically live in a way that justifies me being happy. If that makes sense. That's not the right way to put it. I live in a way so that when I die, I can look back and say I'm happy to have lived the way that I have. That's what I mean. But that means being happy a lot for me. I smile at a ton of things. One of the things that really gets me is puns can get me a lot. I have I shared a post to the Discord that you have the other day, and it was something about a fucking ostrich. And this ostrich, this guy was just going off about how much of a fucking baller ostriches are. What do you call it? This is the epitome. Take this as, like, the symbol. He called an ostrich an extendo chicken. I died. Like, I was laughing my ass off 15 minutes straight. Anyone in that server, like, as long as we're in voice chat, you'll hear it eventually. You'll know what laugh I'm talking about. But things like that. Things that bring, like, a non just self immediately gratifying thing are going to be things like good personal relationships, because I don't have them very often. Like I said, there's somewhat of a narcissistic component to it. And also things like genuine praise from hard work gets me going a lot. I do struggle sometimes with the getting to the hard work, but I definitely have the high achiever mindset, which is like, I want these things. Is there a conspiracy that you think might be real? Most conspiracy theories that people have, I genuinely do think are just people not understanding things in the circumstance and applying themselves to it. Like aliens, or Area 51, for example, a popular one right now. There are a ton of things in Area 51 that just don't really make sense. Like, why do we think aliens are humanoid, really? Why do we think that they wouldn't just have technology that far surpasses us? Because if they're on a separate planet, the time that they have doesn't necessarily need to be anywhere near correlated to our development. So, like, if we think that teleportation is a thing that can exist, or long-distance spyglassing, or long-distance communication, why don't those things come first? Why do you think it's some alien with a ray gun in fucking Area 51? That doesn't really make sense. It doesn't. I'm sorry. Things like that. I have a person in my household who's very conspiratorial, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. But they often throw up conspiracy theories, and they don't really like it when I shut them down, but it happens a lot. What's your biggest goal in life? I'll set two. One is pragmatic, one is an ideal. Ideal goal. I already said it earlier. I want to live in a way that I want to live in a way that I am happy for the way that I have lived before. If that makes sense. I'm happy to have lived the way that I have. That is my goal. I don't want to get to the end of life and regret what I have done. Biggest goal in life as far as like constructive, long-term committed goal right now is I want to become one of the best professional clinical psychologists. That's why I said this is something before Jordan Peterson, but obviously that's basically the symbol of the ideal in a sense. I should be doing it right here, but I'm doing it right here. All right, we get another 5. It's a long video. Auburn, this is what you get. You get to laugh along with me because you made me look at myself instead of a human. That's not really his fault. What's one commodity you couldn't live without? I could live without anything, really, as far as physical. I don't need a lot to survive. I obviously, if you can, it's good to have. But honestly, I'll find a way to be happy regardless. If you could fit your whole life into... Oh, we already asked that one? What upsets you the most? I already asked that one. Very small source pool here, Auburn. Very small source pool. If you could live anywhere on Earth, where would it be? In the library of a good university. I would be able to effectuate outside of it. Sorry if you hear a baby crying or people yelling, by the way. Not what I'd like, but it's happening, so... Yeah, so I would like to live in the library of a good university or around there, somewhere right next to one, because I genuinely love the idea of a well-structured university with like good people behind it. It just has the potential for so much resource and so much learning and so much connection to other people outside of you. Like your social dynamic changes almost instantly into something that you can actually take and evolve from. You have so much organized chaos outside of you that you can just grab and manipulate, other than just sitting in your household being like a lazy little lump of coal. Just doesn't know what it wants to do until it ignites. And I think that for myself personally, having that sort of human connection and a special, like human connection for me is the way that I like to learn. It provides me much more than just reading a book. I can grab and intuit far further from someone's way that they're reacting to the things that I said, and like how they've come to take in and digest the information than just me reading books sometimes. It helps me a lot. That's why I like talking to people so much, in part, is because I know that this is what actually makes me learn. Not saying it's the best, of course. I would much rather learn to structure myself and be more industrious and just end up reading and going and doing that. And I've struggled to do that for a long time. But I've also been the person who can hit tasks that are way higher than most people. So it's a weird dynamic that I had playing out inside me with that one. But yeah, there's the answer to the question, library. Tell me about... God damn, you have like 10 questions on here, Auburn? Jesus. I already told you about my aberrations. If you could change careers to what... You already know. Psychology. I wouldn't necessarily... I'd like to be an apprentice to a psychologist. That's very, very well up right now. I don't think I'd rather just like to change careers into a clinical psychologist all of a sudden, because obviously that's going to lay upon that floor with a lot of issues that I don't know how to deal with yet. I've got a lot to learn. What's your favorite thing to do and why? I struggle with favorites. I don't really categorize things like that often. probably help people in a way where they're helped for a lot longer than I am in their life. That's what I would say. That's why I try to give advice to so many people. It's why I try to be decent around people. I want to make a lasting impact on people that they can remember and refer to. That's a weird answer to the question. If you'd like one that's more structured, no, I'll stick with that. That's good enough. So, could you survive in the wilderness for a month? What would happen to you? Yeah, I could. There'd be a harsh first 2 weeks of getting things in order, and then another 2 weeks of trying to figure out what to do with my time. And improving on the things that I have until I'm in a decent level of comfort. But yeah, I could. What animal best represents your personality? I fucking hate this question. Because I don't know. I've looked through a lot of animals, and like, there's not one that really goes. Let me think on it for a second. What animal best represents my personality? I don't know. I know my way that I come off to people in general conversation without like just like it's like messing around as like a llama. I'm just a fucking goofball. But there is a very serious side to me that takes a more structured approach and likes to go through things objectively. And like, I'm not sure if there's an animal for that. Maybe a human. I don't know. Half lion, half llama. Yeah. What qualities do you like about myself? I don't like this question. There's a lot of things I like, but it's hard because they're balanced with a lot of things I don't. My want for objectivity and my ability to be sympathetic to every person regardless of enemy or friend. There's one. My ability to aim at ideals that are higher than my current status or position. There's one. I find myself wanting things that are genuinely good, despite my inability to get there. The want for things that are genuinely good is something that I like. I'm very emotionally stable. That's one that I can keep as like a constant. Although that, in tandem with my extroversion, does account for some of my narcissism. So I'll leave that one there. Would you ever beat someone up? What would it take? Yes, I would. What would it take for them to be doing something that... Basically, I would need something that requires an immediate action to be taken before sympathetic or empathetic force to be the better example. Like someone about to stab someone or something like that. That's what it would take. I genuinely try to use charisma and like talking to people more often than force. Like, I don't like using force in general to deal with things. Not saying I can't, but it's like I don't view it as the best way to go about the scenario. I view composure and sophistication over force and obliteration, if that makes sense. But yes, of course. What puts a smile on my face? Or what makes me bored? What qualities do... Oh my god, I'm going to answer them all. Look at that. What first world problem do you have? I don't know. I don't really care about a lot of the first world things. I have a lot of problems, you could say, but not a lot of things that I genuinely care about that are, quote unquote, what other people might call problems. So I have a new age problem that comes in the form of having ideals but not the structure, not like the conscientious structure to be able to achieve them. I have that. What's one quality you dislike about myself? Arrogance and approach. That's one. Yeah, arrogance and approach, and I find myself being able to know the right things to do, but not know the right way to say them, or to spread the information. And that's a harsh thing to deal with. Let's see. Something you miss the most from childhood. I was a lot more empathetic rather than sympathetic in childhood. There's a difference. Like, empathy has its place to be used, and sympathy, I think, does take the reins in most scenarios. But empathy allows for an individual attachment that isn't really available to me so easily right now. I try to be more objective and impersonal, and when I was more empathetic, it was more easy to be personalized. Are you a religious person? Spiritual versus religious? I would say religious, not entirely. I believe a lot of the symbols, but I know that they're symbols, so I'll go spiritual. Oh. I think I've gone through like 12. You might have 3 more. Tell me something you've achieved. Recently, I've achieved losing around 60 pounds in 4 months, which is something decent. I was running around 100 miles a week, 70 to 100 of cardio at least. Running 70, 100 miles of cardio. Just put it about there. I've achieved an adoption of objectivity over or applying my personal self to things that should be kept objective, I guess. I don't know. I view things from a state of not entirely just me, but what could be, or what should be, instead of just what should be for me. I kind of view them as the same thing now, which you could say is definitely an achievement, because a lot of people just get stuck in their own heads, and they can't really find a place to go except for what they think that they should do in the moment, right then, right there. They don't really expound past that. And that's not the best. Should we end it there? What time is it? Let me do that again. What time is it? 5:29? I'll say one more thing. That's not on your questions thing. Do I like politics? Yes. Why? Because I believe it gives me a chance to say the things that I actually know in a way that doesn't have to be taken personally by other people, which is my problem. I can come off as arrogant in approach, like I said. Alright, I'll end that there. Hopefully that's decent enough. Sorry if I didn't get as much camera work. Sorry if I didn't get as much camera work, as you might have wanted. It's just hard for me because I'm a very people-connected person, and the whole eye right here doesn't really do the connection justice for me. I would really appreciate if you I said this in one of my other videos. You just flew down here, set yourself in a row right in front of me, let me look into your eyes every now and then, maybe give you a wink. It does a lot for me, but this doesn't. Oh God, what would Jill say to that? Jesus. This doesn't do a lot for me.